RAF Scampton in Lincolnshire, the home of the Red Arrows. The team are spending every minute preparing, practicing and repairing. In a few days' time, their epic journey will begin.
It's been dubbed as the biggest tour in a generation. It's a really big deal.
There's 108 people on this tour, so it's huge. It's a real mammoth task, which has taken a lot of planning.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited. I cannot wait. There's a real buzz around the squadron. Just want to get there and get going.
Everyone is now just really digesting what's on the cards for the shows we're going to, the landmarks we're going to see.
It's excited chatter constantly, so we're counting down the days.
Now. The Reds have been planning their North American tour for over a year. It's one of the biggest and most ambitious trips ever undertaken by the team. Over 11 weeks, they'll travel more than 22,000 miles, perform 30 flypasts and 21 displays.
I think there's two distinct camps in the Red Arrows at the moment about the tour. There's those who are just absolutely fizzing with excitement. I think the other camp are those who are probably just focusing on the most pressing task at hand, which is getting the jets to North America.
Good work. A monumental task on its own. First, they'll head to Lossiemouth in Scotland, before a 3,000-mile flight across the Atlantic, with refuelling stops in Iceland, Greenland and Goose Bay, before arriving in Halifax. After that, it's showtime, with a display route that takes them across the continent. Highlights will include Niagara Falls, Chicago, New York and Washington. They'll head south to St. Louis, Dallas and Denver, and then down the West Coast, finishing in LA. This season, their high-profile flypasts have continued, including over France, to mark the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Now, it's all about practicing and perfecting the routines that will be seen by their biggest ever audience.
If the weather allows us to, we're going to fly the elevator.
And it's Purty who will lead the Reds across the Atlantic to fly the flag for Britain.
So details then, we're on runway 04, surface wind is 330 at 6 knots. The ambassadorial role that is part and parcel of this job back at home is just going to be magnified tenfold when we actually take the Red Arrows on tour to the United States and Canada. The beauty of our display is that it is just a pocket flag. It's red, white and blue that you can deploy anywhere in the world. Let's just talk through reversal though. Reversal 2, smoke on, go, letting it out, reversing left, now.
Red 4 Gregor Ogston is in his first year as a Red Arrows pilot.
I've always wanted to be a pilot in the Air Force since I was a young boy, sort of 6, 7 years old. It's all I've ever wanted to do. As a first-year pilot, it's a massive privilege to be on the team. It's hugely exciting, but also incredibly demanding as well. The first time you turn the smoke on and it all lights up in the cockpit and you start doing manoeuvres and loops and aerobatics, you look behind you and you can see yourself trailing smoke. That's a huge moment that you don't forget.
Red 2 Damon Green, known as Damo, is also in his first year.
There's a steep learning curve, but you really battle through it because you want to be the very best and you want perfection when you put it onto to the public. You've got such an iconic role that you're filling into, and the way we like to think about it is you're just looking after the position for the year. So I'm Red 2 for this year, but next year it'll be somebody else.
But for some, 2019 hasn't gone as planned.
How you doing?
How you doing, sir?
Great to see you.
And you? How are you doing?
Congratulations.
Simo, Flight Lieutenant David Simmons, joined the team in 2018, ready for the 2019 season. He's due to take over from Red Arrows veteran Mike Bowden, known as Bog-Eye.
Taking one of your replacements flying, it's just not right. I'll break his legs when we walk back in, it'll be fine.
But Bog-Eye's joking proved prophetic when the Reds suddenly find themselves a pilot down before one of their biggest ever tours. The Red Arrows are just days away from their North American tour, but for one of their new pilots, disaster has struck.
It was unfortunate. I broke the leg playing football just on a seven-a-side sort of Wednesday night league. when I had the X-ray and spoke to the radiologist and she showed me the picture. At that moment there, I probably realised that for this year, that wasn't going to happen.
With Simo out of action for weeks, the Red Arrows need to find a skilled and experienced replacement pilot, and quickly. And they knew just who to call. Bogeye.
I'd finished my time on the team after 4 years in 2018, back in October, on my merry way to go and be an airline pilot, flying for TUI down in Cardiff, and was happily bussing people around on their holidays.
Red Arrows pilots usually spend 3 years with the team and often return to frontline roles. Bogeye had already done an extra year and was settling into his new civilian career when he was asked if he could return to the team again.
It was a no-brainer, and it took me all of a millisecond to make my mind up. I absolutely went and bit their arm off.
Simo's broken leg means he missed out on vital pre-season training. But he has recovered enough to stay on the team, flying one of the spare jets.
So my role is fully a support role now for the tour. We're planning to take 12 jets on tour. I believe there's 9 that fly in the display. But moving from each location, we're still going to move those jets around.
It's brilliant that he's up and running and able to come with us on the tour and fly an aircraft with us, and he'll be back in a red suit very soon. I suppose the big question I need to ask myself now is who am I going to pick on and break their leg next year is, I wonder.
Before the tour can kick off in Canada, the team face a challenge like no other, flying their jets across more than 3,000 miles of ocean.
These are 12 aircraft that are not commercial passenger-borne aircraft. They're getting on a little bit, so to now suddenly take them the other side of the Atlantic is a huge logistical challenge.
The Hawk jets are now more than 30 years old, and they can't be flown long distances without stopping for fuel.
The aircraft is predominantly a training aircraft and historically only used for training. The range is limited. We have no air-to-air refueling capability. So at every opportunity, we're having to refuel the aircraft. And that's pretty much dictated our path across to the US.
And because they only have one engine, there's no backup if anything goes wrong.
Single engine over a lot of water is going to be quite challenging. We're used to transiting. It's just the hazard of going over the sea for such a long sea track. It is a bit different for us, and so we need to be very prepared for it.
Among those looking after the aircraft on tour will be an elite team of 11 engineers known as the Circus. They're selected every year and assigned to a pilot for the season.
We're a group of different engineers, weapons, mechanical and avionics. We just all chip in together and try and get the job done, and we make sure the aircraft are serviceable.
It's a bit like a car going in for an MOT. You land, you refuel it, quick inspection, and then quite often we'll hop in back in the jet, fly them to the next destination.
The pilots rely heavily upon these skilled engineers.
It's a really unique relationship that I've not seen anywhere in the military or the Royal Air Force before. They are making that aircraft absolutely airworthy, and you're placing your absolute trust in them that it is airworthy to fly in not only transits but the displays.
Lissy Mason, call sign Circus 1, is the officer leading the Circus engineers.
I've been very lucky to do 3 seasons purely because we're doing this mammoth trip across the pond. So it's a real once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
In the aircraft hangar, the whole team has been working around the clock to get the jets ready for departure.
It's just absolute madness what we're about to do. There's such a buzz downstairs.
The Red Arrows have a total of 14 Hawks. While only 9 are used in their displays, they want to take 3 extra, in case anything goes wrong.
Having 12 in America is really important. While the display is only 9 aircraft, things do go wrong.
But Senior Engineering Officer Richard Bland is concerned about one of the aircraft.
We've got XX278, which has its wing off at the moment because it had a bird strike incurred fairly substantial damage to the root of the wing, which caused the lower part of the skin to detach and slightly rip off.
With just days to go before they leave, it looks like the jet could be staying at home.
We're now working both day and night shifts in order to try and do it, working through the weekend.
For everyone now, it's all hands on deck.
For us, it's very busy this period. As you can see, pretty much around the hang, there's something going on at pretty much every jet. We've got pretty much all the engineers in just now. We know if we don't get the jets ready, we won't be going either.
A skilled team is required to perfect every aspect of the Red Arrow's displays, including the iconic red, white and blue smoke.
What's really beautiful about this team is that it's not just the guys in the aircraft, it's people like the dive team.
Dive team leader Phil Wands, known as Magic, is also working hard to prepare for the tour.
I've been in the RAF for over 11 years now, and I've never had anything like this come my way.
Several barrels of dye have already been shipped ahead to locations across North America.
It'll be minimum a barrel per display for each colour, and that's 110 litres per barrel, so it really does add up.
And that's just a small part of the 36 tons of equipment that has to get across the Atlantic. Paul Llewellyn, known as Welly, is the man who's been planning this for the last 18 months.
I do feel like I have a huge responsibility, almost like a parent waiting for Christmas, because obviously you have children with their expectations, but it's not until Christmas Day when they open their presents you know you've achieved. That's how I'm feeling.
Some equipment has already been shipped ahead to North America. Everything else needed for the tour is being loaded on board giant military transport aircraft.
Literally everything we need to operate needs to fit on these 12 pallets.
It's planned and packed with precision. Meanwhile, in the main hangar, engineers have been working day and night to fix the jet damaged in a bird strike.
Removing a wing is something that we rarely do here at Scampton. We're at the point now where we think this repair is going to come off and XX278 is going to be good to go on the tour.
And all the extra work seems to have paid off. XX278 is finally fixed. So 12 Hawks will be heading across the Atlantic just as planned. But they know there are things that could still go wrong.
You got all the kit you need, have you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice one. All right, cheers, mate.
What happens if an aircraft goes unserviceable in Greenland where we're not planning on staying overnight? What happens if the transport aircraft doesn't get into the airport with us? What happens if, we get to somewhere and they don't have the correct fuel? All these little things that sound so simple on the face of it, but are just separate spinning plates that any one of which could bring the whole procedure to its knees.
It's departure day, and everyone is feeling the pressure.
Morning, how are you?
Yeah, good,
Yeah, good.
It's pretty real now. Here we are on Monday morning and we're about to set off.
Excited, but a little bit nervous at the same time as well. It's a long way across the pond.
Yeah, it's great to finally be at this moment, but it's slightly nervous and the weather's not too hot just now, but I'm sure it's going to clear up.
Hopefully, we'll be in Iceland this evening.
The pilots get kitted up. A trip like this requires full survival gear.
We're going to be flying for almost at the limit of our endurance over the North Atlantic. Ultimately, we need to be prepared for an engine failure, for example. So just getting into the cockpit and what we wear is very important.
So an immersion suit, it's a bit like a dry suit if you do any diving. So it's kind of got rubber seals all around the neck and the waist. So you zip it up, and the idea is it just keeps you nice and warm. If, in the unlikely chance we head to eject anywhere, it should help us survive the water until someone can come and rescue us, basically. All set, just last minute preparations now.
Circus engineers usually travel in the back seat of the Hawk jets between locations. But for the risky transatlantic flight, the pilots will be flying on their own.
Normally, we'd jump into the aircraft with our pilots, you know, we'd sort of help pack the aircraft up all together, so it's going to be a bit weird to kind of get my head around that.
It was a big decision to not take Circus on the transatlantic crossing, and the reason for that is there's just no reason to expose them to that slightly increased risk of some of those challenges that we face.
The rest of the team set off in other aircraft. 2 A400M Atlas transporters leave from RAF Waddington, carrying staff and equipment. And 2 more military aircraft, known as Voyagers, are also joining the journey. They will play a crucial role in getting the Red Arrows across the Atlantic.
The Voyager is an airborne command and control centre. It still takes on that ultra important responsibility of looking ahead for us, talking to the airfields that we're about to land at, making sure that the weather is fit, and just doing some of that communication that takes the load off my shoulders as the leader of 12 aircraft trying to cross the Atlantic.
In typically British weather, the pilots get into their Hawk jets. It's an emotional farewell from their family. Many won't be reunited for nearly 3 months.
RAF Scampton Tower, that's copied. Daniel, clear for takeoff, surface wind 04007.
After more than a year of planning, the moment has arrived.
Reds, rolling, now.
The Reds finally take to the skies. The start of an epic 3,000-mile adventure in Hawk jets designed for journeys of a few hundred miles. The Red Arrows are heading to North America for their biggest tour in a generation. It's departure day, and a total of 17 aircraft are now in the sky. That includes a search and rescue jet from the Royal Danish Air Force. They'll be on hand to provide emergency help over the Atlantic if anything goes wrong. While the transport planes head straight for Iceland, the first call for the 12 Red Arrows is RAF Lossiemouth.
Lossiemouth in Scotland will be a well-trodden path for most of us. But then, once we get to Lossiemouth, it's preparing for that trip across the sea.
Power.
We've all flown across the Atlantic before on frontline aircraft, but we've had the luxury of air-to-air refuelling, a lot more fuel and 2 engines in most cases. So it is more of a challenge in the Hawk.
Reds, widen.
We have to halt. It's pretty much, get to the next petrol station, fill up with gas.
The Reds touch down on schedule and make their first refuelling stop. Stage 1 complete. Next, Iceland, more than 700 miles across the North Atlantic. To minimise risk, they'll now be splitting into 2 teams.
As Red 6, it's my responsibility to lead the rear section. So when we split down into our 2 sections, it's my job to lead 6 aeroplanes across the pond. So Red 1 will lead 6 aeroplanes, and so will I.
The flight across miles of open water goes without a hitch. Less than 2 hours after leaving Scotland, the jets have touched down at Keflavik Airport. The pilots head straight for the Voyager aircraft to regroup.
Actually being here in Iceland on the way with 12 aircraft out there in the pan, it's real, it's great, it's fantastic.
It all sort of hits home, doesn't it, when you get going? So we're all certainly up. It's good to be here and on our way now. So, yeah, that's it. The wheels are in motion.
Obviously, we're nowhere near there yet, so we've still got a few more legs to go. So we're not resting on our laurels yet.
They've travelled more than 1,200 miles today, and they'll be spending the night here. So far, so good, but there are bigger challenges to come. It's morning. The pilots are gearing themselves up for the biggest and potentially most dangerous part of their transatlantic journey. From Iceland to Narsarsuaq in Greenland, and then on to Goose Bay in Canada.
Having to transit via Greenland, which is a necessity because of our fuel range, brings with it a unique set of challenges that I've never been exposed to as a military aviator. We have one small airfield in the southern part of Greenland, which we've got enough fuel to get to, but because of the limited range of these aircraft, we then wouldn't have enough fuel to divert to an alternate airfield, which is a reserve that we would always hold on most of our domestic flying.
Perty will have until halfway through the journey to decide whether to carry on or turn back. It's just over 700 miles to Greenland, the very edge of the Hawk's maximum range.
At the point of no return, we have to be absolutely certain that we're going to be able to get to the airfield that's our destination, that we've got enough fuel to do that the weather is fit to allow us to get to that airfield. Once we cross that line, there is no turning around. We've got nowhere else to go.
The weather is pretty bad in Iceland, but the big concern is things might be even worse over Greenland.
We need to be able to see the ground from quite high up to be able to make the approach in there. So we're just waiting on that call.
An emergency meeting is called on the tarmac to assess the options.
The check-in for collector 335.525, obviously that's slipped at 9 o'clock. All these timings are slipped by 30 minutes.
You can't rush decisions when you're in this game. It needs to be thought about and it needs to be measured. Our driving factor was, is it sensible to launch with pretty poor weather conditions in Iceland, knowing that we've only got one shot to get into Greenland? And it was a really difficult decision.
But time is running out. Perty has to make a call.
It is a go with constant reassessment. We will just look at the weather all the way up to that point of safe return. Once we're beyond that, we are committed to landing at that airport. We have no other options.
Now nearly an hour behind schedule, he leads the first wave of Hawks into a threatening sky. On board the Voyager is Group Captain Tony Franklin, the most senior person on the tour. He'll help track the Reds on their flight to Greenland.
Being on the Voyager, we lined up. We were waiting on the runway. I was quite content that everything was going well.
But something is not right.
Morning everyone, it's the aircraft captain. One of the Reds had a slight problem after departure. We're just assessing the problem. I'll keep updated as quickly as I can.
Moments after taking off, a problem has been discovered with one of the jets.
Brain was going at 1,000 miles an hour at that point, wondering what had happened.
The Voyager now has to take off, with everyone on board still wondering what's happened.
We weren't quite aware of what was going on at the time, so he was kind of making best guess scenarios.
They try to catch sight of the red arrows.
So hopefully we'll see them flying past with a bit of smoke on to let us know where they are. Where are they?
At last, they come into sight.
Oh yeah, see, there we go. Normally I'm sat in the back seat with Perty, so it was quite a weird situation to be looking out the window of the Voyager and seeing my colleagues out there, you know, on the wing.
But there are only 5 jets. Red 10 is missing.
Red 10 had an issue with his aircraft, and it was to do with the undercarriage. He wasn't getting the right indication when the undercarriage was selected up.
With his jet in trouble, Red 10 pilot Adam Collins has been forced to turn back and land at Keflavik Airport.
Although we train for these things, you never expect them, and it was definitely way off-piste as far as what we'd briefed for.
We sent the front 5 ahead with the Voyager, whilst we would then find out an engineering assessment of how that aircraft and the nose wheel issue had gone. I remember looking back at some fairly concerned faces as we were trying to work out how to take that part of the trip forward.
And it's XX-278, the jet that was badly damaged in a bird strike. Now, it will need repairing again.
That's when it starts to be a challenge. We say, okay, what do we need? We need to get spares and parts to that aircraft. We need to get a team. Do they stay behind? Do we bring another team from home or something like that, depending on where it is and how it's going to run. And you can't foresee that until it happens.
The team on the ground in Iceland need to find out the cause of the problem and how quickly it can be fixed.
This aircraft's come back, we're holding the rest of the team. We're now into contingency planning of, do we delay everyone? Is the jet going to be long-term sick for about a week? And then we can decide how many jets we're going to push forward. And so there's a lot of pressure to find out what we're going to do.
Meanwhile, 30,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean, the first wave of jets are midway between Iceland and Greenland. It's the point of no return. Perty and the team on the Voyager must now decide whether to continue.
It was about, is it safe to press beyond the point of no return, which is something I've never dealt with in my 20-year flying career. The nerves then come because you don't know what can happen. We're pushing the Hawk right to the edges of its endurance limit.
We were getting kind of mixed messages at that point about what the weather was actually doing in Narsarsuaq. But after a number of conversations and getting closer to that point of no return, the plan was to push, and push we did.
Bertie and the Reds fly on. With nowhere to divert to if there's an emergency, they're now fully committed to completing the journey to Greenland.
I remember could see a big cloud bank, slight nagging doubt in the back of my mind that had we made the right decision or not. And then we could see the glacier leading down. The front five let themselves down through that glacier.
When I caught sight of that airfield from about 35 to 40 miles away, having just descended through a very thin layer of cloud, I couldn't have felt more relief.
We were sitting in the hold 20-odd thousand feet above, watching those red jets touch down.
I've never landed anywhere like that in my life. The weather hadn't closed in, we got there safely, and the setting was just incredible.
They've made it, but there's no time to celebrate. 7 jets are still in Iceland, and one of them now needs to be fixed.
It's a really tough call because they've got Voyager aircraft running, so they need to make some really focused decisions really quickly. We might end up leaving a few engineers with that aircraft in Iceland.
Time is running out if the second wave of Hawks are to complete today's journey on schedule. The delay has also meant the Danish search and rescue team has had to make an unplanned landing in Greenland to refuel. They need to get in the air and back to Iceland as fast as possible to shepherd the second wave across.
Okay, so the options as I see them is that you depart with wave 1 at 15:45 and join in formation with us.
Our problem is that the weather, as you can see, is starting to close in a bit here, and we're running out of time. So it is a bit of a race, whilst doing it safely, to make sure that we can try and get those aircraft not only into here, but then thinking about the onwards delivery. I think they've probably got about an extra 2 hours beyond their planned departure time. Otherwise, the window starts to really close down.
In Iceland, the remaining Reds are told they need to leave. The broken plane won't be coming with them.
They're just going to press on with the 6 serviceable aircraft they've got, and we've left an aircraft back in Iceland. I'd like to have as many aircraft as we can. I'd really like to get that 12th aircraft across to the US if we can.
The second wave of Reds depart. Pilot Adam Collins has had to leave his ailing Hawk behind, so he's flying Simo's spare jet instead.
I'm expecting that in about half an hour, the other 6 aircraft will join us, and getting these 12, now 11 aircraft across to Canada is a priority.
The weather holds. The remaining 6 Hawk jets touch down safely.
It's quite a special approach, coming in over the ice plains and down through the fjord. Just phenomenal.
It's one of the few airfields I've been in where you actually have to take in the scenery around you and seeing icebergs at the end of the runway. Absolutely epic.
The pilots are relieved to have arrived, but they're all too aware that one of the jets has been left behind in Iceland. For Red 10 pilot Adam Collins, it's been a difficult and dramatic day.
My gear didn't come up properly, so my nose wheel wasn't properly locked up. It was an issue with the centering mechanism, so I tried it a couple of times and then just had to burn off fuel with the wheels down and then land about 45 minutes after I took off. So they had a look at the jet. Unfortunately, it can't be fixed quickly. So we're going to have to rescue that one probably in a few days once it's had the part replaced, and then hopefully back up to 12 again, ready to get to North America.
But the Reds now have to focus on the next leg of this intense journey, from Greenland to Goose Bay in Canada.
A quick splash of fuel for the jets, and hopefully in Goose Bay tonight, and then on to Halifax tomorrow.
the engineers get to work servicing the jets. It's a tight turnaround on this stop, but essential checks still have to be carried out.
Just making my way around, checking all the flying controls and vital components of the aircraft, making sure there's no signs of damage to them or anything like that. Yeah, just putting oxygen in the jets so we can breathe. We've not used much, so it's not too bad for us. Quick.
Ascot 9607 in Narsarsuaq, Goose Bay. I'll nav this weather base here at Narsarsuaq. It was a nice day.
Although the weather in Greenland is good, they're keeping a close eye on some low cloud near Goose Bay.
Point of safe return, you can see the waypoint 8, and that's based on a 20-knot headwind throughout.
After a detailed briefing, once again Purty will lead the first wave, with Toby bringing the second wave behind him.
We're off. We need to get going and press on to Canada, but everything looks pretty good so far, and I hope it's like this in Canada. It doesn't sound like the forecast's too good, but it's good enough to get in.
The first wave takes off. Two hours later, the second wave is also airborne. Ahead is nearly 700 miles of ocean.
Once we're over in Goose Bay and we sort of, touch down there, I think we've got through the most complicated parts. Once we get there, I think it'll be a sigh of relief. We're across the Atlantic. We're in sort of that position to start the tour.
Crew, 10 minutes to landing, 10 minutes.
The end of day 2 and an epic voyage. With another 1,500 miles of flying under their belts, they finally made it to Goose Bay in Canada.
You could sense instantly the relief on every single pilot. We're now on mainland Canada. We've done the hard bit. And I think we really understood there the enormity of what we'd managed to do in just 48 hours.
After a night's rest, it's a wet start to day 3. Now, there's just a short hop from Goose Bay to Halifax in Nova Scotia. 11 Hawk jets break through the cloud to bright blue skies. They've flown over icy waters and some of the most inhospitable terrain on Earth. But they've made it to Halifax. Over a year of planning has paid off. The transatlantic flight is complete.
That was probably the most epic journey of my career to date. It is amazing to be here in Halifax because this is really the first bit of the tour proper.
To get across the Atlantic on time as well, bang on time, is an absolute phenomenal achievement from everyone on the team, really.
It's great to see all the jets finally here. Crack on with the rest of the tour now. It's just good to get them across the pond, to be honest.
I think it kind of hit everyone sort of frying pan in the face. This is the start of it now, so yeah, looking forward to getting stuck in.
It's been an epic journey, but there are more challenges to come. Before the team can perform in the USA, they need to pass a strict validation test.
It is a nerve-wracking moment. They could say that the display is not fit for the purpose for which we've designed it.
It's Friday morning. The Red Arrows have been in Canada for less than 24 hours.
Good morning, I'm Matthew Searle. I'm Circus 2 on the Red Arrows.
But they're already making quite a splash.
At 7:30 this morning, we were in the car driving to a live morning TV show.
Flight Lieutenant Damo Green, also known as Red 2, he's a pilot of the Red Arrows.
Damo Green and Matt Searle, Red 2 and Circus 2, are being interviewed on live TV.
This is our life, different environment, the green screens everywhere and different mock-ups up to studios and that.
It was a good experience, actually. Every so often then you just catch a glimpse of the red and the blue suit, and then you kind of like get really self-conscious about where am I looking, what am I doing with my hands, and it's just like, oh, I'll just go back to talking about the team.
They've even made front page news.
It's one of the shiny jets as well, so she'll be struggling.
It's not us. It's great to just start the tour off on this kind of footing, isn't it? And so we're looking forward to getting flying.
The team already has permission to display in Canada, but they now face a major hurdle before they're allowed to perform in the USA. They need to complete a strict validation flight, which will be assessed by America's Federal Aviation Authority. Without it, the team can't display in the US.
It is a nerve-wracking moment because public display authority is a bit like a driving test, and you can't get rid of those driving test nerves, no matter how many times you rehearsed for it. They could say that the display is not fit for the purpose for which we've designed it.
The Red Arrows regularly practice their display, but the hectic preparations for the tour mean they've not had as much practice as usual, and they need to be on top of their game. Get this wrong, and the entire tour could be in jeopardy.
Obviously, we just had the Atlantic crossing week before, so I think everyone's focus was on that. We hadn't displayed properly, really, for a couple of weeks.
We experience skill fade, and we're always striving to put out the best display we can, and we always want to achieve the highest standard possible.
In a little while, might just go slightly awry. Don't forget, they're used to big 1 hour long shows.
It's my job as the leader just to calm the nerves of the pilots that this is just another display. We're just going to fly it exactly the same way we always do, and hopefully prove to those inspectors that it is absolutely appropriate.
Good. It's glorious out there. I'm really looking forward to flying over this site. Don't let any of this distract you, the fact that there's that guy sat on the ground.
The Red Arrows take off for their first major test on North American soil. This has to go well.
Hold in. Camera, go. And pushing up. Right. Go.
Putting on a good display is more important than ever, with the Federal Aviation Authority inspecting from the ground.
Probably not one of our best, just an issue of timing on the rejoin.
It's not gone as well as hoped, and the pilots aren't happy.
That was not our best performance by any stretch of the imagination.
There was a lot of disappointment amongst the team on that day of the validation. Some of the manoeuvres that just didn't go quite as planned. It was a really good wake-up call.
But it's a pass. While the Reds want perfection, the Aviation Authority are happy with the display.
It's our chance now to go and put that right for the rest of the tour.
And they get straight back in the jets to do just that. They're heading to Halifax Harbour for the first fly past of the tour. And their first public appearance in North America for more than a decade.
It's jam-packed, really full, down here at Halifax waterfront. This is my very first time seeing them. I'm very proud to be here and be able to experience this.
We live in Canada. We've been here for a year, and we've just come down to see the Red Arrows. It makes us feel very proud to be British and also to be Canadian as well.
Moments later, the jets arrive, with their iconic red, white and blue smoke trailing behind them.
I thought it was amazing. Just seeing those planes in that tight formation is just incredible. I have no idea how they're able to do it.
We flew what's known as an enhanced flypast, so it's not quite a full display, but we put on a small show. And actually, I think we were just blown away by the turnout, because even from the air, you could see Halifax was absolutely packed.
Thank you very much, everyone. What a brilliant way to kick this tour off. And we're here to inspire and to entertain, so hopefully we did that today. Thank you.
But with the fly past in the bag, the Reds still need to up their game.
The next leg brings with it our first public display, full show, in front of a North American audience in over a decade.
We need to go and put the wrongs right and get up to the standards that we'd expect.
That sets it off now. We can go and display around and, the States and the rest of Canada and look forward to all of those shows, and we'll start to hopefully hit the standards that we're expected to.
In the neighbouring city of Gatineau, a special one-off show has been organised for the Red Arrows, so the crowds can watch their first full public display. 2 days earlier, the Reds had to complete a validation flight to get permission to perform in the US. They passed, but they weren't happy with their performance.
We're not one of our best, with an issue of timing on the rejoin.
Now, they need to up their game.
Halifax was a bit of a disappointment for us as a team. Going to Gatineau gave us a great opportunity to move on from that.
This was our chance to show what we can do and, put the wrongs right from the validation and put on a really good show that we knew we were capable of.
Getting the tour off to a good start needs careful planning.
It's Gatineau, first public show of the tour, so it is an important one. We should all be back on Airbus.
Before every takeoff, the pilots prepare in meticulous detail.
There are angles of bank at that pole, widths. Give yourself that little extra space that you can make sure that your wings are level.
We will never turn up to a display ever underprepared.
You do feel the pressure hugely, and the heart does race.
Each flight is different, and every aspect has to be scrutinised and assessed. From the weather...
Winds all over the place, but it's clearly beautiful out there.
...to the location itself.
There's a few little quirks about operating here that will bring out the hazards, mainly crowd rear and airspace issues just down to the south there. So do not be below 1,000 feet if you find yourselves any more than 2 miles crowd rear. The pre-flight briefing is one of the most, if not the most important aspects of the flight. It's what gets the guys into the zone. Taxi out, single file, double spaced.
It really keys you in and gets you ready for going up and doing the display.
More bank holding.
Tight.
Not only do they talk through their display in detail, they also practice out loud the cockpit commands they'll use in the air.
To right,
and pulling up.
6, 7.
Go. What I do is I talk through sequentially exactly how that sortie's going to run from the minute we start the engine up until the minute we shut down. Right. Reds. Brake, brake, go.
Roll, checker, pull.
We sit there in that brief and we will not fly until we're absolutely certain that we've got it right, because if we can't get it right in the brief, there's no way it's going to work in the air.
As the pilots take to the sky, squadron leader Adam Collins will be providing the commentary. He's in his second year as Red 10 and safety supervisor, guiding the crowd through the team's moves.
You certainly feel the pressure commentating in front of thousands of people, but actually the small crowds can be even more nerve-wracking than the big ones.
Height's about right, could go up a little if required.
And actually, because my main role is looking at the flying, supervising, ensuring the safety of the team, really the commentary is almost going alongside that.
Come on, go.
The Red Arrows! The Apollo roll.
Right now.
Concord.
Up and forward! Up and forward!
Red 6 and 7 pulling over the top. No white smoke. His smoke comes on, ready to steer the half. Go. Vertical break. 8 and 9, roll around 57.
6 rolling out. 6 and roll, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Red Arrows! Excellent hospitality and excellent weather for our first public display in Gatineau.
Thank you. It did feel like we're back on it a bit more. Yeah, that was great fun.
That was awesome. I think it's a good one just to get the nerves settled as well for displaying abroad. You know, he hasn't been for a little while and in front of a different crowd. I think we blew the cobwebs away, so it's good.
I mean, what an amazing backdrop. The sun's shining, and there's a real buzz about this place. It's awesome, absolutely awesome.
The crowd were just cheering away, and it just was magical. You could just sort of feel the hairs on the back of your neck. I think they just got an understanding of how far we've come to get here. It was perfect.
Now back on the ground, it's time for the pilots to meet some newfound fans.
So come on here!
Come here.
And Red 7 John Bond, Bondy, is a particular hit.
Said I want a picture with a pilot, and I want the cutest one. So he volunteered.
What a lovely lady, lovely lady. And again, it's things like this that make this job worthwhile, you know, just feeling the appreciation of the crowd. There we go. Did you enjoy it? Enjoy the show?
That was really cool.
Brilliant.
The first public display of the tour is a success. But it's about to get seriously challenging. Next, it's the USA, with towering skyscrapers, millions of spectators, and thunderstorms that could bring everything to a grinding halt. After performing in Canada, the Red Arrows are heading south to Chicago, their first stop in the US. More than 2 million people will be watching their displays here, and they've never flown anywhere quite like it.
Chicago was the one display that really focused my mind as a leader. We've got 1,500-foot high skyscrapers, bigger than any display site we've ever displayed at.
It's a stunning skyline, but that actually gives us a lot of challenges when we've got 1,000-foot high buildings where we want to be flying as low as 300 feet.
The jets touch down at Gary International Airport, and despite the challenges ahead, the pilots are excited to have finally reached US soil.
I think Chicago is going to be a massive contrast to where we've been so far.
To get off here in Chicago, one of their really big cities, here in the Windy City, is going to be fantastic.
It is a game changer. That location will probably be one of the first times that the guys really understand the enormity of taking the Red Arrows across to the North American continent.
So the pilots are excited about Chicago, and Chicago is certainly excited about them. The local TV networks have noticed that the Brits are in town, and the breakfast news programmes are out in force.
Let me introduce you to the Red Arrows. Their first time in Chicago. And I'm surrounded by Brits, and I'm loving it.
People tell us the crowd's big here, and that's probably going to be one of the biggest crowds we've ever displayed to, in the history of the team.
How close together are the jets?
The closest we'll get is between 7 and 11 feet.
That's still pretty close.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Their enthusiasm has just got our enthusiasm up as well, and everyone's so excited for us to be here.
Finally, Ken in the studio loves a good ginger, so if you could wink in the camera and say hi to Ken, that'd be amazing. Just do it.
Ken, I'm yours.
Love it back to you guys.
I think it just gives us an idea of the broad range of people that we're going to be displaying for who probably have no idea who the Red Arrows are, and we get an opportunity to entertain them.
Next morning, it's a wet start as the team prepare for their first American display.
Some people left at 5 a.m. this morning to get here, make sure all the jet aircraft are ready for the display. And pretty much as soon as we got here, the heavens opened, huge downpour, so that creates a bit of drama when trying to get everything out, keep it dry.
But there's some good news, and a special delivery. On the transatlantic crossing, one of the Hawk jets had to be left behind in Iceland because of a technical fault. It's now been fixed, and Red 12 David Simmons has flown it to Chicago to rejoin the team after an epic solo adventure.
The engineers did an amazing job to fix that jet, so it's up to me and the rest of our crew to get it here. Started off in Iceland, then we went to Greenland, across to North Canada, up in the Arctic Circle. Then we encountered some bad weather, had to go back to Greenland, and then from there we're hopping our way all the way across to northern Canada and down to the States on our own.
It's great to have her back. She's going to have a little bit of TLC, but should hopefully be ready for this afternoon's display if we need her as a spare.
The Chicago show is one of the largest in the world, lasting for 2 days. It's also a hugely complicated place for the Reds to fly their full display.
Ground rear arrival, amateur battle, coming left, normal colours, into short diamond, will then roll out down the line in short diamond.
With so many tall buildings nearby and such crowded airspace, the Reds need to prepare meticulously.
So my plan is we'll route out of Gary, up here, get all of our stuff sourced out, I'll route in via lead, and then we're actually just going to bend in left and come down the line.
And it's such a challenge, the team have decided to perform a recce flight ahead of their display. They want to make sure that when it comes to the show, there are no surprises.
The recce flights are something that we don't normally do, but it was absolutely recommended from the airshow organisers to just go and fly around the aerobatic area in front of Chicago just to get a grip of how big some of those buildings are, to have a look at the show site, and to do that in a controlled fashion. It just showed us from the air how this looked compared to the imagery on the computer, how it looked on a paper map.
The big learning point was clear. If the weather was going to be poor behind the crowd line, then that was going to cause us some serious issues.
So it was very, very important that that recce took place.
With the recce flight complete, the team at the airport must now prepare for the display. Flight Lieutenant Lissy Mason leads the group of elite engineers called the Circus, each assigned to a pilot and their jet for the season. It's their job to carry out critical pre-flight safety checks, and before every flight, they perform a carefully choreographed routine called the see-off.
Anytime you do a see-off for any aircraft, you'll have a person out the front that will do all the hand signals to the pilot to make sure that it's clear for them to start up their engines, that their control surfaces are working, and that's done by various different hand gestures because obviously it's very noisy and you can't hear in the cockpit. So we've got a set of different hand signals that we notify the pilot that all his control surfaces are working. So it's all trying to keep it as in time as we possibly can.
But just as the pilots are about to take off, there's a sudden change of plan.
We got ourselves all ready for the Chicago display, and unfortunately, some thunderstorms have come rolling in. We were watching on the rainfall radar, but just at the time we were about to start the engine, we got the call to just wait, hold off, we'll just see if the weather improves. We were so excited to get out and fly our first public display here in the US, and it just feels like it's been pulled away from underneath us.
The storm is 25 miles away at the airshow site, and it's a heavy one. All flying has been postponed until it clears.
It is quite tricky because clearly you build yourself up to the show to get yourself mentally in the right place to go and do it. And we were all certainly really fired up for that one and ready to go.
Any time there's a pause, it's so difficult to get the plate spinning again, to make sure that everyone's in the right mindset, they're focused enough. My biggest worry when we got that stop was about trying to keep the guys in that psyche to step straight back into it as soon as we got the green light.
Need to seek shelter because we're going to get wet.
At the waterfront, it's a bleak wait for news.
It's a bummer that it's raining.
Hopefully it's going to clear up soon, though.
Finally, the storm moves on. The Reds get back in their jets, and they're off. The weather's better. Low cloud is still a concern.
There is a very thin layer now, crowd rear, estimate 800 feet. It's fairly persistent.
As they approach the show site, Purty makes a last-minute decision.
When we got to the shorefront in Chicago, it was pretty obvious that it wasn't safe to go back where those skyscrapers are. So I had to make that decision that we would arrive from one side of the display line along the lakeside shore.
Unfortunately, we couldn't do what we normally would do with that crowd rear arrival. Hopefully still a nice start that people appreciated.
And the pilots more than make up for it with the rest of the display.
It's time for the Heart and Spear. Go! Here comes Red 8 from the top right to spear the heart. Go! Stars and stripes coming. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Red Arrows!
I can't actually believe we've just done that. We had the skyscape behind us. We had clouds pretty much up on the top levels of some of the skyscrapers up there. So it was a really thin layer of cloud, really atmospheric.
I'm a little bit lost for words, to be honest. It's just unlike anything I've ever done in my career. Just the scale of the buildings, the crowd was enormous.
Pretty surreal. You know, just get one of those sort of out-of-body experiences of, like, have I actually just done that? You catch those small glimpses in the middle of some manoeuvres of the skyline of Chicago. Skyscrapers kind of lost in cloud, the tops of them, and to yet still put a show on in front of the crowd, that, you know, being so close to it, it's really hard to put that into words as to how special that is.
That was epic. Very challenging because the weather wasn't completely on our side, but we got the heart in, we got all the looping manoeuvres in, so that was amazing. Hopefully, blue skies tomorrow.
Day 2 of the Chicago Air Show, and the weather has taken another turn for the worse. An even bigger thunderstorm has hit the city, putting the Red's second display in doubt.
Great.
You could hear the thunderstorms rolling around, you could see the lightning, and I must admit, looking at the weather forecasts, I wondered whether it was even worth going to the airport, let alone think about flying a display that day.
The engineers are already at the airport, but have been told it's not safe for them to keep preparing the jets.
20 to 10. I'm only kind of halfway through our servicing, so at the moment no one's going anywhere. Physically as well, no one's actually going anywhere because the fire department won't let us. For safety reasons, because, you know, they're very concerned about lightning strikes and things like that. So I reckon the display is probably not going to happen today. It does look pretty severe out there.
The air show isn't the only issue. The team are supposed to leave Chicago later today to carry on with their tour. But if the bad weather continues, it might cause serious delays.
And the transit this afternoon is going to be another issue because the weather's going to clear up and then it's going to come in again. So it might be a case of just trying to use that window to maybe then disappear. But that means then changing route plans and flight plans. But we just have to literally play it by ear and get everyone around on a table and sort of thrash through a best plan, really.
They might need to make weather calls en route. So Bertie wants that experience in his backseat. He's going to fly with him. So
by lunchtime, there's a change in the weather, and suddenly it's blue skies.
Once they're airborne, and just get yourself ready for when they land. Duel the aircraft, pack everything. Honestly, the weather changed just like that. You just got to be flexible because things can change just in a moment, and we've proved that today.
It's time to get back in the sky and put on another show. And this time, they do make their planned arrival over Chicago and appear from behind the crowd.
Despite that poor weather in the morning, we managed to get crowd rear, taking the crowd by surprise by arriving from behind them with the red, white and blue.
The weather this morning was awful. It looked like we weren't even going to get a display in, so to get a full show in was great.
Chicago done, that was epic. So good tick in the box. That was incredible.
For the dye team, it's straight back to work. The jets need their dye tanks topping up, so their iconic coloured smoke will be ready for the next performance.
But we're already pre-mixing the dye. That's what these hoses are. Because it was quite strong, so we're just trying to get it running through. So it'll be a good mix.
Phil Wands, known as Magic, is team leader.
Every time they'll do a display, we'll fill the pods. They'll use it, they'll do a display, we fill it, and so the cycle goes on.
We're proud to wear the Union Jacks on a uniform and to literally pick up the flag and drag it behind us, you know, trailing red, white and blue smoke.
Their displays across North America will be watched by millions of people on the ground, and the pictures will be seen by millions more around the world. Getting the smoke right is crucial.
It has gone wrong in the past. Pre-social media ages, we got away with it. Unfortunately, with the scrutineers that are out there, you can't get away with it these days anymore. So even more pressure to get it right every time.
The coloured smoke is created by vaporising diesel mixed with dye.
You can hear now, that's the pod venting to get all the air pressure out so that we can put the dye in.
But there's nothing high-tech when it comes to filling the tanks. As the team can't see inside, they have to rely on the sound of the liquid reaching the top.
Sounds like sort of water being poured into a tank. They're filling both at the same time, so I'll shut off the red tank when it goes and the blue tank when it goes. Cam on the rig, he'll do the same. Red's gone! The job does sound simple enough, but as soon as you factor in tight timescales, it then all starts becoming a little bit more stressful. Red's on! Have the red! Have the red!
Dye team duties complete. It's time to leave.
We're all packed, ready to go. It's going to be quite a busy, hectic schedule for the next coming days.
Really looking forward to just transiting over, enjoying the views, help Damo out where I can and remembering a few bits and pieces.
Well, he's a bit useless as an engineer. Sorry, that was unfair. He's very good as an engineer, exceptional. That's why I can give him banter.
They take to the skies and are on the move again. Their packed schedule continues with quick stops and performances in Boston.
Good timing, six.
And a day later in Atlantic City. Before arriving for one of their most high-profile and challenging stops of the tour, New York. And the eyes of the world are watching.
This is a huge deal.
We had to get it right.
The Red Arrows are taking America on one of their biggest ever tours. And they've arrived in New York.
New York, I think, was the one pin on the map that drew the most guys' attention when we first saw it. You can't really think about the United States without thinking of New York.
It's probably the one that I'm really excited about.
But they're not alone. They'll be joining 10 US Air Force jets for an historic joint flypast down New York's Hudson River through some of the world's most heavily regulated airspace.
The plan at the moment, if it comes off, is for all of us to fly down the Hudson, in trail, one behind the other, loop around the back end of the Statue of Liberty, and then come back up to New York via the Hudson. The New York airspace is probably the busiest portion of airspace in the world in such a condensed area. The planning's begun months in advance and liaisons with the other teams that we were going to be working with.
There are a lot of players involved, air traffic in particular, so for us to get that amount of aeroplanes through that airspace at that particular time, coordinating with all the civilian traffic going in and out of the international airports, was really important to get right.
The morning of the flypast has arrived, and the start of one of the biggest days of the whole tour.
So Heather in the R44 is going to be in the green circle, and she's going to remain in the exclusion zone at 1,300 feet or under.
In 2 hours' time, these pilots will be taking part in one of the most high-profile flights of their careers.
This is a huge deal. We're flying down the Hudson over New York City, where there's going to be millions of people who could see us. We can't just cobble this stuff together.
Every remaining minute needs to be spent carefully finalising the plan.
On the morning, obviously everyone had their game faces on. You only get once in a lifetime chance to go down the Hudson with that many jets. So, you know, we had to get it right.
And then once we get to the George Washington Bridge, that's when we're going to start working the flight split.
That first meeting, we had every single formation leader taking part. So that was the US Air Force Thunderbirds who were present. We had the F-35 pair. We had representatives from the F-22 Raptors. US Air Force's frontline lethal fighters. We had air traffic control from New York Center. We had the air traffickers from the airfield we were at there in the room to be able to look eyeball to eyeball.
After the joint meeting, the Reds regroup again to go through the plan one last time.
We've got the Lightning and the F-22s locked in with us, so it'll be white smoke for the outriggers. When we're northbound, they're going to have backed off, will be full coloured smoke. We'll establish with the Thunderbirds, and then we're just going to follow the Thunderbirds around in a big lazy turn round to the left, but I am going to just offset right to the middle for the Liberty fly past. Make sure you're not looking elsewhere. I need you to be eyes locked onto me, please.
It's going to be a bit of a highlight, so I'm sure we'll nail it, but just stay on it. It's been a busy old one, but this will be iconic, so high profile.
As we got airborne, just as the Reds, gives you a minute to just compose yourself, just think about what you're going to go and do.
You don't want to be the pilot who leads your team to the wrong piece of sky that means the join-up doesn't happen on time or at the wrong level and that you're messing air traffic control around.
As they near Manhattan, the Reds start to line up with the other aircraft. At the rear, 2 F-35 Lightnings and a pair of F-22 Raptors. Up front, and leading the formation, is the US Air Force Thunderbirds in 6 F-16 aircraft.
Flying down the Hudson with the US national team of the Thunderbirds with some leading-edge 5th-generation fighters in my mirrors was just amazing.
I need it right now.
The Red Arrows follow the Thunderbirds down the Hudson.
Very iconic image for me is seeing Central Park out of the side of my cockpit. Oh my God, I'm over in New York, I can see the Empire State Building.
I caught downtown Manhattan at one point. I wanted to pinch myself, but that would have been bad because I'd taken my hands off the stick and the throttle. But it was one of those moments that you really have to think, wow, this is what I'm doing.
They fly past the Statue of Liberty.
Rolling out.
Then they turn back towards New York and the moment everyone's been waiting for.
Fly past colours.
On comes the red, white and blue smoke over the Manhattan skyline.
Power.
That is career highlight. That was amazing.
What a standout moment. That was one of the best hours I've had in a jet, in fact, in my entire career.
That was pretty special. That was pretty special. You know, 5 years of being on the team and stuff, I've got to be right up there as one of the best things we've done.
We've just flown the red, white and blue of the UK over New York City. It doesn't get any better than that for us.
It makes you very, very proud. Proud to be British.
The team head back into Manhattan and join the crowds in Times Square.
This is crazy, it's so busy. It's amazing, look at it, look at all the screens, look at everything. Yeah, wow.
It's one of the most famous locations in New York, and moments after the pilots arrive, a giant video of the Red Arrows appears.
Just bizarre. There we were, middle of Times Square with our pictures on the wall. You don't see that every day.
This is just, yeah, beyond belief. It's great. See the Red Arrows and up on one of the big screens and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty special to be stood here in the middle of it as well, so, yeah, awesome.
Then it's a whirlwind of meetings and public engagement.
They're amazing global ambassadors. They're a real statement of British excellence. It just makes me so proud to have them here and to be able to show them off to the people of New York and indeed to people across the US and Canada over the next few weeks.
The focus now shifts back to flying and an important weekend ahead at the New York Air Show. The Reds will be sharing top billing with the Blue Angels, the US Navy's aerobatic team.
They are very patriotic. The US audience are very knowledgeable as well, and they knew that we were newbies on the scene.
We were very humble to be able to share the stage with an American homegrown team, you know, knowing that we're in their backyard displaying.
The Blue Angels mean business. They have bigger, louder planes and fly close, precision routines.
The US Navy Blue Angels display is full of noise. It's kind of panache in a different sense.
We have a certain bit of finesse we do in some of our flying. We fly approximately 18 inches apart.
We fly a little bit closer and a little bit faster.
The Red Arrows fly training aircraft, there's not as much noise, and it's a different display.
We've got 9 aeroplanes, and we've got red, white, and blue smoke.
We might fly different jets. Ours are blue, theirs are red, F-18 and a Hawk. We might be from different countries, but in the end, we're there to do the same mission. It's really cool to see how we accomplish that mission in our different ways.
Yes, there is healthy competition, of course there is, but a lot of mutual respect as well.
Everyone wants to aspire to be the best, and that competition is great because it spurs everyone on to putting in a really high performance.
It's very unique and historic that the two teams get to come together.
And Red 4 Gregor Ogston and Red 10 Adam Collins aren't just going to be watching the Blue Angels. To suss them out, they're about to fly as passengers during a training session.
It's an iconic team to fly with, such a well-known team around the world, and being able to fly with them is just an absolute privilege.
Gregor and Cos get strapped in. And then the Blue Angels demonstrate their take on the pre-flight routine, the walk down. Walk down complete, and they're off.
That was phenomenal, yeah. It's hard to describe it, it's just so good.
Very different flying from what we do. Really low, really fast. Brilliant.
There were literally no room between those jets. Almost to the point I felt like I could stretch out and touch the jet next to me. Just going, is this actually happening, as we were, raging around in an F-18. It was incredible.
They now know that these are some of the best precision pilots in the world. The big question is, can they put on a show to match them? The Red Arrows are taking America. After an iconic flypast over Manhattan, seen by millions around the world, they're now just hours away from wowing the crowds at the New York Air Show.
It's so busy at this air show, there's so many people here coming to watch us that actually to get through the crowd would just take so long.
So the only way to get into the air show is with these guys here. So the state troopers are going to escort us in with their lights going, which is great. It's a lot of fun, actually.
It's very rock star, yeah. It's pretty special.
With a high-speed police escort, the team avoid lengthy queues.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
And arrive at the airshow site on time. And there's an enthusiastic crowd waiting to meet them.
Welcome to America.
Hey, how you doing? All right.
I'm excited.
So are we.
It's actually really amazed me how many people all over the States have come over to this place to come and watch the show.
I guess many people haven't seen us before, so for them this is a bit of a unique opportunity. Maybe they haven't got across the UK to see us in the display season there.
We just got autographs from 3 of the pilots. Yeah. And the number one, we actually spoke to him and we saw him over the Hudson when they flew over a couple of days ago. It was really nice.
I actually served with some of these guys, their brothers, while I was in Iraq. So meeting them abroad and then here, it's just a really neat experience.
I'm just so proud of the Red Arrows and everything that they do and how they make us, all us British, so very proud, and they're spreading the love over here in America now. It's amazing.
It's time to deliver the show of their lives.
Right, so here we go. The show goes down.
Around the rest of the formation. Spectacular.
It's just such a great atmosphere, and that atmosphere feeds into the cockpit and into the display as well. We're just pleased to put a good show on for them today.
And now the Reds have shown what they're made of, it's time for the Blue Angels to perform to their home crowd.
Who do I think put on the better show? Oof. Do you actually want an answer for that? I mean, the Blue Angels put on an incredible show. Their close formation is really something to behold. But I think the public like the red, white and blue smoke.
Niagara Falls sits in a national park that is on the border of Canada and US. So when you're trying to coordinate air traffic control, it's not one country you're dealing with now, but it's 2, with different procedures and different expectations.
And it's first-year pilot Greg Rogston who's responsible for planning the flypast.
Niagara Falls was always going to be a high point, I think, for any of us on the team. For me personally, that was one of the sorties I was required to plan and navigate on behalf of the team leaders. So I'd had my eye on that for quite some time, even before we'd left the UK. Certainly I was feeling under pressure because I knew the importance of achieving that flypast.
It won't just be the pilots who get to enjoy this flight. Their circus engineers will be travelling in the back during the flypast too.
Niagara Falls is going to be a great thing to be a part of. I've never seen it in person, so to be able to fly over it in a Red Hawk could be a fantastic opportunity.
They probably get a better view than most of the pilots. They can really revel in some of the enjoyment of the sortie, which just adds to the experience of flying in the back of a fast jet over the US and Canada.
The pilots need to arrive with precision, putting on their smoke at exactly the right time. It's down to Gregor to monitor the weather, and several layers of cloud threaten their approach.
Just seeing that water leading into Niagara Falls appear, sudden relief from my point of view that we were going to be able to get down, get underneath the cloud and over the top of the falls themselves.
It's a perfect backdrop for a fly past, and we managed to put on the red, white and blue at exactly the right time.
The execution of it went really well, mainly thanks to the help of all the air traffic people we'd coordinated with.
The Niagara flypast has gone exactly to plan. But the journey isn't over yet. Gregor must now navigate a landing into Canada's busiest airport, Pearson International, which handles over 1,000 flights a day.
When you operate out of a huge airport like Toronto Pearson, because it's a commercial airport, and they're doing us a favour by allowing us to land there, so we need to be slick.
The Reds join a landing flight path used by giant passenger jets, more than 20 times their size. It has to be coordinated with precision. They get clearance to land, carefully line up, and touch down on schedule.
That was pretty epic. I mean, Matt was obviously being able to look out the window. I'm just looking at the boss, but you seemed pretty happy with it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was incredible. Like, one of the best experiences of my life flying over there. Absolutely amazing.
Really honoured to be part of that and just to be a little bit part of history, really.
They're on a high, but they still need a debrief.
In for the route itself, seemed to work very well.
The big thing for me, though, other than personal learning, is the co-ord for that one. It was quite a lot of work to coordinate it all.
I thought it was well handled. There was a lot of injects there, so good effort. We were fairly squeaky today. We just need to make sure we are for the rest of the week.
Toronto, Canada's largest city, sits on the shore of Lake Ontario. It's a metropolis of soaring skyscrapers, including one of the world's tallest structures, the CN Tower. In less than 24 hours, the Reds will stage a flypast and practice their display over this distinctive shoreline.
The CN Tower, which, whilst it will make for some great shots, it does come with challenges of how you're allowed to fly around it.
But the pressure doesn't end there. Another world-class aerobatic team will be joining them. And in a big break with tradition, they'll have a passenger on board. A man who's flown further, faster and higher than almost any other pilot in history.
We don't take anyone flying with us lightly. It just isn't done unless there's a very good reason for it. It was quite clear that this was a very important person.
There's a lot at stake. The Red Arrows are taking America. Now 4 weeks into their mammoth tour, they're about to fly over Toronto with a special guest on board. Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield became world famous after his stint as commander of the International Space Station. He's now preparing for a very different type of flight, in the backseat of a Red Arrows Hawk jet. And it's making the news.
Participating in this year's show, Mr. Chris Hadfield. Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to see you.
It's a delight to be here and a wonderful treat to be able to fly with the Red Arrows. What a dream come true.
It's got to be an honor for you guys to fly with a gentleman like this who's got such a distinguished career in aviation.
It absolutely is. It's an incredible honor. We're so pleased that we could do this. It doesn't get more inspirational than this.
When we met Chris Hadfield, the fighter pilot who became an astronaut for over 20 years, instantly the pressure's on. We want to show him what we can do.
He might have walked in space, but he still has to go through all the safety checks before he's allowed to fly in the back seat.
Relatively healthy today, should be all right.
First, he needs to get kitted up in essential survival gear. A protective helmet and oxygen mask.
Slightly impersonal bit there.
That's all right. We just met.
And a special G-suit to stop him blacking out during high-speed maneuvers.
To meet somebody who's been to space is just absolutely out of this world. I suppose it's quite a personal thing, fitting up to somebody. You always have a bit of chat with them.
You look good. I'm a mess. All this stuff.
And despite getting a NASA checkup every year, he still needs an assessment by the Reds medical team.
So all we need to do is just check your measurements.
Put your arms out straight with your knuckles closed, that'd be great.
Before a final safety briefing.
I don't know what the handles look like in this ejection seat. They'll show me what we
They'll show you, yeah, so it's yellow and black and it just
It's just a center?
Yeah,
Like
exactly that.
One of the biggest raison d'etres for our team is to inspire a younger generation, and you don't get more inspiring, I think, than an astronaut.
And it's going to get even better. Chris and the Red Arrows are going to be joined by their Canadian Air Force counterparts, the Snowbirds, in an extraordinary 18-jet formation.
Quite a monumental task to undertake. 2 military formation display teams flying 18 jets over Toronto.
Like the Reds, they fly 9 jets, and all are elite pilots with frontline military experience.
I've met a couple of the guys I've worked in operations with and met overseas, and then just through training, working with the people from the UK. It's awesome. They're a great ally, and we're very proud to be associated with that.
This is the first time the two teams will have flown together for 17 years.
I think there's a little friendly rivalry, and we want to perform in front of our buddies and then show them what we can do, and we push ourselves to perform our best. I'd have to say I'm a little green with envy on their smoke plan. To seeing the different colors that they're able to put out, would really like to see something like that behind our plane some days.
Before taking to the skies, Chris Hadfield joins the Reds for a detailed pre-flight briefing.
Good, sir. Let's talk through hazards. Clearly, the big one on everyone's mind is the buildings.
With 9 extra jets joining their formation and an astronaut on board, there's even more to talk through.
We briefed the Snowbirds mixed formation. Any questions on the colours of the smoke? Fine, so the maple colours for the big battle, Serial 1, white Concorde smokes for Serial 2.
All 18 jets have been given the all-clear for takeoff. It's time for Chris to strap in and buckle up for the ride. The last time he took a photo of the Snowbirds was in 2013, from on board the International Space Station, 370 kilometres above Earth. Today, he gets a much closer view.
A joint flight past with 2 display teams doesn't just happen. I talk to the formation leader. He's putting his trust in me that we're going to be in the right place at the right time.
Both teams complete an epic formation flight over Lake Ontario. The Snowbirds return to land, clearing the airspace. Now, Chris gets the extremely rare opportunity to stay in the jet as the Reds practice their routine.
Pulling up, half it, brake, go. Up, pulling, go.
You've got an astronaut in your backseat over the skyscrapers of Toronto on Lake Ontario shorefront. It was a magical moment.
That was fun. What a ride.
Sarah, enjoy that?
Yeah, it was fun. You guys were real tight. It was probably the tightest other formation team that we saw.
But never have I been inside one big formation, tucked in the next 18 planes all beautifully together. You just look around and wonder, and if I didn't have so much gear on, I would have pinched myself to even know that I was there.
There was a real buzz when we landed from that flypast, and us just sitting down the back in our trademark battle formation with the Toronto backdrop was stunning.
Phenomenal display for us, and one that will live long in the memory.
It's Saturday morning, and after an epic Friday with Chris Hadfield, it's back to the real business. The Reds will be displaying at the Canadian International Air Show ahead of the Snowbirds, who will be the closing act. So the pressure is on for the Brits.
The Snowbirds fly 9 aircraft in formation. Their aircraft is a training aircraft of a certain vintage, and just their whole method of operations is exactly the same as the Red Arrows.
The Reds will have to pull out all the stops to stand out.
When you've got 2 jet teams displaying at an air show, there's always going to be comparisons.
Obviously, you always want to go and do the best display, and you want to be the best display that day in front of the public, so everyone goes away and says the Red Arrows are the best in the world.
The pilots seize their gap for takeoff from Canada's busiest airport. They head towards the skyline of Toronto and the lakeside display site.
Turn in, go.
Let's hear it for the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows!
Now.
It's an overcast day, but that helps their red, white and blue smoke stand out better than ever.
Go! Even again, full. 6. Bring the back. Now. Maple colours.
Their journey back takes them over the Toronto skyline past the 1,800-foot tall CN Tower. And they land in high spirits.
That was an incredible show for us. Everyone was really pumped up for it, and it just helped as well that we had perfect conditions.
With the clouds, the smoke colour looked absolutely brilliant across the sky, so it had really deep red and really vibrant blue, and it just really stood out.
From down here, it's just overwhelming. It's very amazing.
I took so many videos and pictures.
They were better than our snowbirds, maybe. Maybe now, I don't know yet.
The Red Arrows have set the bar high. But now, it's the turn of the snowbirds, with the Reds watching from below.
Covers, rolling, now. 2, 3, 4, step down. 1 back, calling up. Airs, spit, now.
That's very clever. That's very good.
It pains you to say how good they are. Some of their shapes and how well they hold it and how well they fly it is genuinely really, really impressive. So we doff our caps, as I would guess we'd say.
Really great to see someone from another country doing a really similar job to you and just see how they do it, so you can kind of compare notes.
I think we'll be nicking maybe a couple of their manoeuvres maybe for next year.
It was just a brilliant moment for me, just to be able to pause, watch the snowbirds do what they do, and just take a bit of inspiration.
There's plenty of respect, and the feeling is mutual when the two teams get to spend some time together at a reception that night.
It's an honor to share the skies. What a great experience it's been. We got a snowbird hockey puck. So, but you can't have a hockey puck without wearing one of these around the UK. There we go.
Canada has been a success, but now the heat is on, literally, as the team heads south to St. Louis, Missouri. It's the next stage of their tour, flying the flag for Britain, and they arrive in style, roaring past the 630-foot high St. Louis Arch. But the temperatures are going to push the team and their jets to the limit.
Yeah, this is definitely the hottest place we've been so far. I'm pretty drenched right now in sweat, but yeah, it's definitely the most humid we've been to as well. I think that's probably going to be a theme to come now. I think it's only going to get hotter.
It's 33 degrees Celsius on the tarmac. That's 91 Fahrenheit. And in 70% humidity, it feels even hotter. For the engineers maintaining the aircraft, it's getting really difficult.
We started off, obviously, in Canada and then worked our way down, so it's been gradual. This is the hottest we've had it, though. I'm from Manchester. This is killing me.
Medic Andy is on hand in case of emergency.
There you go. So is you just on your own? Do you want another one?
I'm just on my own.
Okay.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Sweet. All right, no worries. See you in a little while. Cheers. I need to keep an eye on everyone because everyone will be focused on their main jobs, their primary roles. So I need to make sure that they're kept out of the heat as much as possible. A little bit difficult here. Make sure they're hydrated and there's no signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion, etc., lack of concentration.
And it's even worse for the dive team, wrapped up in their protective suits.
I've been in it for about 5 minutes and I am very hot. We'll probably stop, we'll do half the jets and then we'll stop, take them off, have a bit of a breather. Red zone! Nothing gets in, nothing gets out, so it's very hot in here.
The pilots are also bracing themselves for the temperatures because it could affect how their jets perform.
In high humidity and in high temperatures, the jet is simply not going to perform as well, just like a car. The higher the temperature, the less performance you have.
We have to be really careful when we go into our manoeuvres to allow just that extra bit of safety margin so that we cater for that heat.
And there's another element of tomorrow's display that requires special planning. Flying alongside the Reds will be a World War II Spitfire.
A little bit of British aviation history together with the Reds and the Spitfire. so that should be a real spectacle. We're doing that just before we display, so it should be pretty action-packed to start the weekend.
The iconic aircraft was among hundreds of Spitfires which provided air support during the D-Day landings. It's now proudly on show at the Dakota Territory Air Museum, and pilot Warren Peach gets the honour of flying it.
It was built in March of 1944. It flew 74 missions in World War II. It's iconic. It's the pride of a nation. The United Kingdom's still very proud of the Spitfire. They should be.
The Spitfire will join the Reds at the start of their show. Timing will be everything.
When you've got another new pilot there flying a Spitfire, the planning required just takes on an exponential stage. We need to talk about speeds. It's slow. We need to slow down. And we need to think about what we're going to do if he can't rejoin us.
Hope I don't screw up. You know, I don't want to make a mistake, but...
The day of the air show has arrived. The pilots climb into their jets at the last possible minute.
As you shut the canopy, you're pretty much in a greenhouse until the engine's up at full power. Until you're in the air and the conditioning's not getting you cool, and you're then getting hotter and hotter.
In scorching heat, they're about to perform their first ever display in the skies of St. Louis.
Really high temperatures, and the humidity just makes everyone tired.
And with a vintage plane alongside them, there's no room for error. As the Red Arrow's North American tour takes them further south, the temperature is rising. They're facing sweltering conditions during their first ever appearance at the Spirit of St. Louis Air Show. In high humidity and extreme heat, the pilots are preparing to take off.
The heat definitely affected me. I'm a Yorkshireman, and you can see by my complexion I'm not made for the heat. I prefer to be really cold.
Once in the air, they prepare for a special opening formation, joined by the World War II Spitfire. The Reds get into position. They need to keep a close eye on their speed to allow the 75-year-old fighter to keep up.
Come on, go.
That brings with it a level of complexity. The speed differences, a Spitfire doing 180 knots, vice our 300 knots, and a pilot that we've never flown with before.
I mean, what a brilliant way to start an air show. But then, you know, once the Spitfire had spit off, we had to go and do our thing and show what we could do.
Take that line. Pulling up, holding the back, coming left, now, stars and stripes, go.
The Reds have battled through the heat and humidity and pulled off a good display.
They've never had a Spitfire here at St. Louis. They've never had the Red Arrows, so yeah, quite iconic for them, and the reaction was phenomenal.
There's just time for a quick debrief.
We knew here immediately crowd front was going to be an issue. What I hadn't envied is actually all the way out crowd front, it's going to plateau just all up at 600 feet. So.
And finally, they can get some respite from the hot sun.
I need to change the t-shirt, I need to change the flying suit. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
As one of the biggest and most ambitious in their 55-year history, the images captured during this tour will be remembered for years to come. And team photographer Adam Fletcher, known as Fletch, has been tasked with getting over 100 people together for the team photo.
Yeah, that's brilliant, as long as we can go up in a straight line. Fingers crossed it'll all go to plan. Oh, it's a bit more tilted than I was imagining.
It's not the smoothest of starts.
There we go, that's nice and flat. That's it, if we can stop at that level.
And now there's another problem.
Oh no, all this smoke is going to affect my photo. That jet needs to come this way slightly.
Getting everyone together and getting the shot of the tour is not proving easy.
We try, it's like herding cats.
Careful for the ropes, please.
Finally, it's job done.
That looks all right. Thank you very much.
The pace of the tour has been relentless, and they're soon on the move again. Further south, via Houston to Fort Worth in Texas, and finally, a chance for some downtime.
Fort Worth marked about the midway point of the tour, and I think people were starting to get a little tired. We'd been on the go constantly, and I think people were really ready for a rest.
With a 2-day gap in their schedule, it's a chance to hang up the red flying suits and enjoy a bit of team bonding on the ground. So, in temperatures now in the high 30s, they're heading to an authentic Texas rodeo.
Can't come to a rodeo without a cowboy hat. It's really important that we just get up to something that can just completely de-stress us. It is very difficult to get away, and the only way to dislocate yourself from that is by getting off and doing the fun stuff.
I've never seen anything like this before, so I don't think any of the boys have seen anything like this before either. So, yeah, a real good bit of Texas culture coming up for the next couple of hours.
You know, you go round over and you go, it's not my first rodeo. Oh, this actually is my first rodeo. The brilliant thing is, after this, I can turn around and go, it's not my first rodeo. Love it.
For us to, you know, relax, out of flying suits, social environment was really beneficial for the team.
The Reds aren't flying any displays in Texas, but they do have one very important duty. They've travelled to Dallas-Fort Worth National Cemetery for a special ceremony marking Battle of Britain Memorial Day.
Myself and Lydia are laying a wreath in commemoration, so it's an important day, especially for us in the Royal Air Force.
During that time, the RAF fighters were 3-1 against the Germans. Took a lot of guts. A whole lot.
Almost 50,000 US service personnel are buried here. It's a poignant reminder of the shared sacrifice of two old allies.
If you don't think of what happened in the past and the hardship the RAF suffered, the history could be repeated, and you don't want that. It's important to pass this on.
It gave everyone that chance to reflect and think about what those people had given in the ultimate sacrifice, and realise that whilst this was an important tour, it was nowhere near as important as what we were there to remember.
After their Texas break, the tour is back on. From Fort Worth, the Reds fly over cowboy country to Colorado Springs, before a short hop to Colorado's state capital, Denver, also known as the Mile High City. They're going to land at the highest airport they've ever been to, Denver's Rocky Mountain Metropolitan.
We're landing here at 6,000 feet above sea level. None of us have ever landed a Hawk at that elevation.
It's over a mile up, so very tricky, right on the performance limit of the jet.
Tomorrow, the Rockies are due to provide a spectacular backdrop for a Red Arrow's flypast. But just minutes after landing, there's a major problem.
As soon as we landed, we shut down. A lot of our aircraft, the tyres started deflating.
Jets came into land, and as they were shutting down, you heard, like, noises.
There's quite an audible noise, and you hear the hiss, and you hear one tyre go, and you hear another one, and then you hear another, and you hear another one.
7 tyres have unexpectedly deflated, putting 6 jets instantly out of action.
7 is quite a lot of tyres to go in one session. I think a record for anyone's memory of anything on any other squadron as well.
The problem has been caused by the tyres overheating. An emergency safety mechanism has kicked in, forcing them to deflate.
We knew that operating at altitude comes with risk, and the real big difference is when you're landing. And clearly, the guys are using their brakes, it's 30 degrees C outside, and just the friction caused these tyres to go. We only had about a 15-minute flight from Colorado Springs, so usually the wheels would probably have time to cool down, but they just didn't with that short transit.
Engineers carry out urgent repair work late into the night.
I was hugely disappointed. My thoughts were, we can't do anything about what's just happened. We just need to make sure it's not going to happen again.
By the next morning, all the flat tyres have been replaced, but now they urgently need more spares.
We're going to have to try and get more tyres out to us because we've pretty much exhausted a lot of our supply at the moment. We've only got one left at the moment.
The A400M support plane is taking an advanced crew to get set up at their next location, Portland. Once it lands, it can bring back more spares to Denver. But there's another setback. As the giant aircraft comes into land at Portland, it suffers multiple bird strikes.
There was a cascade of strikes on the aircraft. Most of the people on board will have noticed a succession of thuds all in one go.
A whole flock of birds has hit the plane.
3 of them have hit on the nose. There are 3 strikes on the leading edge of the wings, and at least 2 have hit the engine intakes.
Oh, I can see it on the blades.
When I heard about the A400 then suffering a bird strike on top of everything that had already happened, that was probably one of those moments where I thought, do we just need to stop for a day or two and regather again and work out what's the right thing to do here?
With the support aircraft out of action, there's no quick way to get more spare wheels to Denver. To make matters worse, the A400M is also crucial for transporting the team and all their equipment around the States. It's a massive blow.
I'm not a superstitious man, but it felt like we were slightly jinxed for those couple of days.
The Reds now face a dilemma. Do they carry on with today's flypast with just one spare tyre?
We can't afford for that to happen again because we just don't have the spare. So then you have to have that, discussion. It's like, do we cancel?
The whole point of us travelling to Denver was to put on this display as a bespoke flypast, and here we were, possibly facing not being able to achieve that.
The team comes up with a plan to help reduce the risk of more problems.
We're getting straight to the runway, we get straight airborne, we leave the wheels down to cool for a little bit, and then just a whole bunch of procedures like that means that we hopefully don't have the same issue again.
With a plan in place, they're going ahead with the flypast.
Regardless of the size of the audience, we are there for a reason. We are there to put on a Red Arrows display, and it mattered not whether there were 200 or 2 million people watching.
We never want to cancel the show, we never want to let anyone down, because everyone deserves the same performance and they all expect a certain performance from the Red Arrows.
They are committed. All the team on the ground can do is wait.
We can only hope that was a one-off event. If they suffer another tyre issue, these aircraft will not be able to leave tomorrow.
The 9 Hawk jets take to the sky. And on the ground, the invited guests gather to watch.
Red, colour on, go. Reversing left, now. Holding the bank, now, tightening. Rolling, out. Big baffle, stars and stripes, colour on, go. That's us complete. We're going to go up to the northwest.
So far, so good. The Reds make a careful landing, one jet at a time, leaving bigger gaps for stopping distance to protect the tyres as much as possible. It's a tense moment.
We increased our space on landing, which will prevent us having to use the brakes as quickly and as forcefully as we may have done the day before. We also delayed putting the parking brake on as well, so we made sure that chocks were straight in as soon as we landed.
The engineers carefully check the tyres, and this time they've survived the landing intact.
We all had a great sigh of relief when we all landed, all tyres serviceable. It proved that the mitigations put in place for us to go and do that fly past worked.
Tomorrow, the pilots are flying their jets to Portland, the next location on the tour. But there's a serious issue for everyone else. The A400M transporter, which is supposed to be flying the engineers and their equipment, is grounded hundreds of miles away because of a bird strike. The team are forced to send all their vital kit by road on an epic 1,000-mile journey. But if the support aircraft can't be fixed, the rest of the tour faces an uncertain future. The Red Arrows are taking America. After major setbacks in Denver, they're now en route to Portland.
Portland was the furthest west the team have ever been, and we knew that, and it was definitely a new terrain for us.
The Reds land at Portland International Airport and are reunited with the A400M transport aircraft. 24 hours ago, it struck a flock of birds while landing here. Before it can fly again, engineers need to be sure there's no serious damage.
There's a number of inspections that the aircraft has to go through before it can be released for any further flights.
The aircraft has to be carefully checked over. If they discover any faults, it could have a drastic impact on the next stage of the tour.
In the worst case scenario, it could even require an engine replacement, which obviously we don't have out here at the moment.
The whole team is now feeling the effects of a difficult 48 hours.
We'd had a really awkward couple of days with the A400 breaking down and the stuff that had gone on in Denver. And that's when I looked around all of my team and realised that we're probably working at a heightened fatigue level here, and Portland was a challenge.
The Reds are headlining the Oregon International Air Show across the weekend and have been booked to perform 2 displays in front of 65,000 people. But this year, the show has been relocated from its normal venue, and the new site isn't suitable for the Hawks to land on.
The airfield that we were based out of, the International Airport of Portland, was about an hour and a half to 2 hours driving time away from the airfield where the air show was being conducted.
It was the getting to and from the show site that was always going to be difficult. It was going to be very challenging for us to just get the formation out safely.
They need the weather to be on their side to and from the show. And it's also been several days since the Reds performed their full display.
Adding to my woes was the knowledge that skill fade's ever present, and I knew that the guys are feeling that. I knew that they were looking at the weather forecast for a particularly tricky couple of days, and they were worrying about their own performance, and that always just adds to that kind of heightened level of tension.
It's Saturday, the first day of the air show. The Reds get into their jets to make their way to the display site, but they still need to keep a constant eye on the weather.
Although there was a little bit of cloud over the high ground, it was just good enough to skirt around a lot better than were forecast.
Herty keeps in contact with Red 10 to decide the safest route to the airshow site, avoiding areas of low cloud.
The bigger gaps are crowd left and around show centre. Crowd right is a little bit more, but there are big gaps there. For the arrival, if you run in over show centre, it should be good for full.
It's time to show the crowds what they can do.
Moving back now. 8 and 9. Roll, go! Roll, go! 8 and 9. Roll, go!
We put on a memorable show for them, one of our most westerly locations that the team had ever flown to, which is great to get a Red Arrows first in 55 seasons. That doesn't happen often now. So for us, we were particularly proud to achieve that, despite the challenges with the terrain and the weather that we encountered.
The Reds return to the airport. Their display has gone well, but there are other problems still to resolve. The A400M support aircraft is undergoing further engine tests after the damaging bird strike. Several tons of essential equipment have to reach Vancouver on schedule if the Reds are to display there in a few days' time. And with the big transporter still not airworthy, time is running out. The decision is taken. The heavy pallets will have to go by road again.
Our job is to move everything that the Red Arrows could possibly need around the world. And so it's been a long few weeks, and then we come across things like this where we have to adapt and overcome. We need to get that in as well.
It's Sunday, and for day 2 of the air show, the weather is not looking good. Once again, it's down to Perty to decide whether it's safe to go ahead with the display.
We've got an hour and a half until our display time, and we kind of have to display at that time. There's no potential to delay just because of the way the airspace is constructed. So, you know, I've got to make a call in the next 10 or 15 minutes. It's always on my shoulders as to whether what we're doing is safe, and that's what I've just got to remind myself.
At the air show site, it's also looking bleak.
So there's bad weather between us and the airport. There's more rain on the way, there's more low cloud on the way.
Weather updates from the ground at the airshow site help Perty make his decision.
I'm in fairly constant communication with Red One. He'll be talking to the Met man back at the operating base, and then it's really looking at the gaps in the cloud, whether it's feasible that we could get the 9 aircraft down through those gaps and safely do a display.
So I've just spoken to Cos, who's down at the show site, and he said the weather's getting worse, it's not getting better.
The show's off. It's a disappointment for everyone.
There's definitely no chance of us flying today.
I never take a weather decision lightly because I know that there's a paying audience who are absolutely desperate to see us fly in a new part of the world we've never been to, but we had to cancel the display.
Ultimately, you know, safety overrules what we do, and we had to be safe that day. We just physically couldn't get the jets in there safely.
This is the first display on the tour they've had to cancel. At the airshow site, it's down to Red 10 Adam Collins to break the news.
Unfortunately, we've had to take the very difficult decision that we will be cancelling the Red Arrow's performance today. There's lots of people who've heard about us, who've travelled a long way to see us. So having to pick up the microphone and announce to the people there that we weren't going to be able to put the display on was difficult. So a very difficult decision for us to take. I'm sure it's very disappointing for you all, but it's as equally disappointing for us.
Anytime we cancel, it's deeply, deeply disappointing because we know we're letting people down, but we left it to the last possible moment, hoping that the weather would clear up, and unfortunately, it just didn't improve enough for us to put on that show.
The challenges faced in Denver and Portland have put a huge strain on the team, and the tour is still far from over. The next 2 weeks will see them travel all the way down the West Coast. And after a series of disappointing setbacks, their ambitious final leg could now be even more challenging.
It just felt like we were kind of swimming in treacle. You could feel it around the room. It was pretty gloomy, and I think probably some of our more tricky times on the tour.
The Reds will now travel north, back up the West Coast for their next big stop, San Francisco. There's no air show here, but they will be putting on their red, white and blue over one of the most photographed landmarks on the planet.
The Golden Gate Bridge flypast was one of those on the calendar that we were most looking forward to. An absolutely incredible sight that I know some of us have seen from the ground, but never from the air.
Over 1.5 miles long and 227 metres high, the bridge is an international icon and attracts more than 10 million tourists every year. The Reds flypast could be the image that defines the whole tour, but capturing it will need split-second timing. They'll be powering over at nearly 400 miles per hour and will need the weather to be on their side.
We know the weather over the Golden Gate Bridge can be a little dodgy at times, low cloud, fog.
And I was just overly concerned about the fact we'd get there and we wouldn't even see the bridge at all.
Red 4, Flight Lieutenant Gregor Ogston, is responsible for planning the flypast.
It's probably one of the most iconic flypasts we're going to do on the entire tour. But you can see it's quite busy. All these blue lines around here, that's international airliners, civilian airlines that are flying there. So squeezing in around all of that's going to be the tricky bit.
And Gregor isn't the only one with an important role. Circus 10 photographer Ashley Keats is flying with Red 10 pilot Adam Collins to get the all-important picture.
We worked really hard on a photo chase with the camera weighing from 1 to 6G at a time. We come down sweating buckets. It's hard work.
As we run in, Red 10's going to position out on the left, hope to get a shot over the bridge, a shot of Alcatraz Island, and then we're going to spin round in San Francisco Bay, come back round for another shot where hopefully he'll be photographing back towards the front of the formation.
It's the morning of the Golden Gate flypast. With Damo gone, Red 11 Andrew Keith is taking his place. So 9 jets, plus Red 10 to get the shots, are now in the sky.
The approach up to the Golden Gate Bridge was a magical one.
No wind, sunshine, not a cloud in the sky.
All the time, we're talking to air traffic control. They're clearing airliners out of the way. They're telling other aircraft, such as helicopters, that we're coming.
Tally 1, little helicopter left, 11 o'clock just behind the island. Copy.
As we turn the corner to point in towards San Francisco Bay, what a stunning backdrop.
And then eventually you see those red stanchions poking up. We're only at about 1,000 feet.
We need to get the smoke right, we need to get the formation right.
Holding the bank now.
Running in there, I'm setting that stable position, looking through the aircraft at the bridge and hoping to get that iconic shot. And then in those last few seconds as you're approaching it, just holding that position.
Colour off, go.
It felt slightly naughty, putting on the red, white and blue over the Golden Gate Bridge. And for that moment, as the leader of the Red Arrows, I couldn't have been prouder.
This is what it's all about. This is probably one of the best pictures that we will ever take together.
After conducting the first fly past of the bridge, we then headed into the Bay Area.
We then banked around Alcatraz Island and the famous prison, and then turned around, and my memory of facing back up at the bridge is I could still see the red, white and blue smoke that we'd left from our first pass.
Red, colour on, go.
And then flying over for the second time, you sort of see your nation's colours over the Golden Gate Bridge. A once-in-a-lifetime moment that will live with me for the rest of my career and the rest of my life.
That was fantastic. It was big enough, so I actually got to look out this time. But yeah, no, that was awesome. I think the photos are going to look amazing, so look forward to seeing what number 10's got.
Now back on the ground, it's time to check the shots.
We get an idea between us, looking out of the window when we're doing the shoot. I can hear happy noises coming from the back seat, which generally means things are going well. But yeah, that's pleased with that.
It's incredible, really, the lighting and the smoke.
That's the one. Good. Job done.
That's really, really nice. I like that one.
Perfect.
That image for me is the image of the entire tour.
It's on to LA next, the Reds' final stop, and for some, their last ever show.
My last display in a red suit. I mean, what a way to go and finish.
The Red Arrows are on the final leg of their North American tour. After trailing their red, white and blue smoke over the Golden Gate Bridge, they're now heading south to LA, the last major stop before their mammoth journey back to the UK.
Los Angeles was the perfect way to culminate the tour and finish it off in absolute style. The weather is going to be perfect for what we need to do. Huge crowds, a lot of people who maybe wouldn't normally come and see us as well.
They'll be performing at the Great Pacific Air Show over Huntington Beach, in front of one of their biggest ever crowds. More than 2 million people are expected.
Just the sheer sprawl of people, that beautiful beach, just the backdrop of, the suburbs of Los Angeles, knowing that this is the culmination of 12 weeks of intense hard work, but just a moment to completely revel in, and just what a location to do it.
But again, the location brings with it some complicated challenges for the team. They'll be flying near Los Angeles Airport, LAX, the 4th busiest in the world.
Planning for going into somewhere like LAX's airspace involves an awful lot of liaisons with air traffic controllers weeks and months in advance. We'd been on the phone to them. We had American specialists working on our behalf to grant us those permissions, to allow us to go into that airspace at the levels that we needed to.
And the team are taking a special route into LA so they can arrive in style.
If you're going to arrive in Hollywood, then to fly past the Hollywood sign is probably one of those things you need to do. A real iconic image and a fly past that I don't think any of us will forget in a hurry. White smoke with a red arrow in some of the busiest airspace of the world, but also some of the most famous airspace of the world. Another one-shot opportunity that fortunately we got right.
From Hollywood, the pilots head south to Long Beach for a fly past over the Queen Mary. The retired transatlantic ocean liner is moored here as a floating hotel. A blast from her horn signals their arrival, and on comes the red, white and blue. Minutes later, the jets land at the Los Alamitos airfield, their base for the next few days.
Beverly Hills, and the Hollywood sign where it is actually really hilly, and it was really difficult to see the sign. It's not as big as you expect it to be, and then all of a sudden it just popped out from behind a hill.
Hollywood sign, that was my favourite. It was just really cool. I've been there before and seen it from the ground, but to fly past it, just like picture myself, because it's just incredible.
People will remember this day for probably the rest of their lives, and just the flight say, yeah, we did that and we were part of that.
Probably the trip of the year, the trip of my career. I keep saying it, but it keeps happening.
Huntington Beach is known as Surf City. And before the big finale show and the long and dangerous journey home, there's time for the team to unwind briefly and hit the surf.
Stood up twice, nailed it. It's nice just to get back time to chill out, especially driving together, so it's quite nice to be able to go and have a wee family day out.
While the dive team take to the water freestyle, some of the pilots are going back to school.
Weight distribution over what? Your front foot, okay?
First time ever on a surfboard. This is the place to do it, I think. It wasn't a bad start. I'll take that for a first go. It was pretty hard work, actually. It's physically quite tough, but yeah, awesome when it works out, and not too many big stacks there, so I'm happy with that.
What a way to come and end the tour. We've done some amazing stuff, but some bit of downtime. And then our last stop to just say, I've actually got up on a surfboard, having never surfed in my life, and surfed a wave at Huntington Beach. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
And there's about to be another awesome event. It's not often the Reds invite guests to fly in their jets.
Oh, come on in, come on in.
But today, they're making an exception for a big British export. Hollywood superstar Gerard Butler.
This is a Hollywood star. It needs to be safe, and it needs to be appropriate, and ultimately he needs to enjoy it, so that he's going to talk about the Red Arrows for the rest of his days to the people that we want him to be talking about the Red Arrows to.
Now he's going to sort you out.
Before Gerard can take part in today's scheduled training flight, he needs to be kitted out.
This, through the hole, you know, I spend my life putting on costumes.
Boots and flying suit sorted. Next, the helmet fitting.
It'll feel tight, but it'll be all right. I'm really, really excited. It's like a childhood dream of mine. That's barely even a dream, because you never imagined you'd have the opportunity to fly with the Red Arrows.
Breathe in for me now, breathe in. It's pretty surreal, yeah. Like a movie star. Yeah, it's not normal, yeah. He was funny, actually. He had a good sense of humour.
With his flying kit sorted, it's time to head to the jet.
You definitely look the part now, anyway.
I look great, right? Yeah. That's all that matters. Need for speed, baby.
He'll be flying today with Red 11, Wing Commander Andrew Keith.
It's quite claustrophobic if you're not used to it. There's a lot of kit on you, your mask, your helmet, and it's hot.
Minutes later, they're in the sky, soaring over LA. After 30 minutes in the air, he's safely back on the ground.
That was amazing. That was, it's such a rush. You're up there, and I want to be up here forever.
I love what I do anyway, so when I'm looping and rolling, I'm having a great time, but to have him in the boot, having a great time as well. It's just lovely to, you know, share that experience.
Living a dream. Living a dream with the Red Arrows.
It's just great to see that he enjoyed it so much. That's what it's all about. Another good day in the office.
I'm going to be one of you guys. I could have been a contender.
Then it's back to business. The Great Pacific Air Show won't just be the big finale of the North American tour. It will also be a poignant moment for 4 of the pilots. This will be the last time that they'll perform as a Red Arrow.
Quite emotional. My last Red Arrows display.
My last display in a red suit. I mean, what a way to go and finish.
I will look back with real fond memories, the people that I've met, the places that we've gone to.
It will mark the end of what's been an incredible 3 years flying for the Red Arrows.
And for their final show, they're back as a full team. Red 2 Damo Green had to leave the tour and fly home when his first child arrived early. Now he's returned for the big one.
I've only been away for 5 or 6 days, I think it's been, but it just feels like a lifetime. So, yeah, had some time with my little baby Etta, and yeah, come back to the team for the final display of the season.
I was over the moon when Damo got back. I started on the team with him, and we trained the whole year flying right next to each other. So it just doesn't feel right when he's not part of the team. There's only 8 pilots. So when he came back, just great excitement that we were going to finish in the way we should.
And they won't be alone. They'll be joining up with the US Air Force Thunderbirds demonstration team. 6 weeks ago, they both took part in a spectacular flypast in New York. Now, at the end of the tour, they'll be back in the sky together again.
Not only was the backdrop perfect for Huntington Beach as our last display, but we've been invited by the US Air Force Thunderbirds to conduct a joint flypast.
Our final show on the tour capped off with a flypast with the Thunderbirds, a team that we'd formed such close bonds with over the last 11 weeks.
We both respect each other for what we're out there to do and what our mission is. Just a few weeks ago, we were all flying down the Hudson River together, and now we're going to be performing an air show all the way on the west coast of the United States. Is something else to see.
For one last time, the 9 jets take off, ready to entertain one of their biggest ever crowds. At the beachfront, the Thunderbirds are nearing the end of their display. Then, the Reds arrive and join them.
Flying with the Thunderbirds, we'd already done it in New York, but we were quite far displaced from their team on that particular flypast. So in this one, it was fantastic to get tucked up right close behind them and put 2 famous display teams down the Huntington Beach.
After the flypast, the Thunderbirds leave. For the Reds, it's showtime.
We knew we had to put on an incredible show for the public and send the tour out with a bang. Landing after the last show at Huntington Beach was a real moment for the whole team. We got greeted with a water cannon salute, taxiing back into Los Alamitos.
It wasn't until we had that archway of water that I think I really got a lump in my throat, because only then could I allow myself to realise what we'd achieved, where we'd been in those 11 weeks.
It was sort of hard to believe that that was my first season on the team done, and you could definitely see the emotion on the guys who were leaving, knowing that that was their last ever display in a red suit as part of the Red Arrows.
It just hit me a little bit then on the taxi back in. So, yeah, it's time to reflect and have a look back on what's been an incredible 3 years, you know?
It is hard knowing it's your last one because you know how amazing it is and what a privilege it is to do this job as a Red Arrow.
It's quite a strange feeling, if I'm honest. Huge experiences that I've had and people that I've met, places that I've gone to, flying that we've done.
Last displays, it's a pretty poignant moment for us. We've experienced a lot together, and we're best mates. You know, we're teammates, and we're best mates.
They've pulled off their last display, and the public part of the tour is done. Now, it's time for the long trek home. A journey that will take them into the Arctic Circle, facing plunging temperatures and fraught with danger.
It was a real shock to the system, not only knowing that we'd kind of finished the season and the best bits were done, but we're now in pretty inhospitable terrain.
At the end of their North American tour, the Red Arrows have finished their last public display. But after 9 weeks away, they now face a long and challenging journey home.
From the high of the last show in Huntington Beach to then being faced with a week of travelling all the way across the States and then back across the Atlantic was always going to be an absolute challenge.
It's a journey of more than 6,000 miles, double the distance of their journey out. That was in August. Now it's October, and the colder weather across the Atlantic could cause serious problems.
Everyone knew when we set off in August that the way home in October would probably be the most challenging for us.
Morale starts to dip pretty quickly after that huge high of the last show, and I needed to keep the guys' spirits raised so that we could get back across safely.
Getting across North America goes to plan. They fly east with 5 refueling stops before arriving in Goose Bay. After that, it's out across the Atlantic.
We knew we were always going to be up against it with weather. When we got to Goose Bay, we started to encounter some of those challenges that we'd foreseen.
The next leg is from Goose Bay to Narsarsuaq in Greenland, which is well below freezing. Because of the Hawk's limited fuel range, Purty will have to make the difficult call before they get halfway, whether it's safe to continue.
Goose Bay was fine, but on the day that we left to get into Narsarsuaq, we flew for an hour. The airfield didn't clear up, and it wasn't safe to go beyond that point of no return. And that's a really galling decision, to have to turn around, having been airborne for an hour, thinking you're on your way home. The guys are pretty downbeat that we're going back.
The journey is not going to plan.
From Goose Bay, we had to reconvene and look at what we were going to do for the next couple of days. We've got air traffic control clearances across the ocean to worry about, search and rescue assets that are on a timeline, and then we've also got the fuel considerations of, do we actually try and do that again, or do we think about another route?
It got to the point where we thought, are we going to stay here? Because obviously as it's getting colder and colder and the snow is kind of following us, we are in danger of being stuck here for a very, very long time.
With no change in the weather in Narsarsuaq, they're forced to stay in Goose Bay for 2 more days. They've waited long enough. The team are now getting ready for a new route plan, but they'll have to leave at dawn.
So jets are launching tomorrow, going to the local, wheels for everybody, at 5:45.
We went further away from home initially, which sounds counterintuitive, but that's what the weather forced us to do.
To avoid the bad weather, they're now diverting further north and west before heading south again to Iceland.
We ended up choosing the northern route, so we went up to Iqaluit in northern Canada.
On the edge of the Arctic Circle, landing into this tiny little airfield in the middle of nowhere.
After a quick refuel, they're straight back in the sky and heading even further north.
A real adventure, more north than I've ever been in my career and probably will ever be again.
The 12 Red Jets land at a remote airfield in Kangerlussuaq, which is minus 12 degrees and covered in ice and snow.
Here we are in Greenland. It feels like we've been on like a 10-week detour to finally reach the exploration aim of getting to the Arctic Circle, which is mad. We've always thought this was going to be the hard bit. It is freezing cold, and it just feels like the last bit to get home now.
But it's not long before more bad news. for the moment, they can't carry on with the journey over the Atlantic because the water is too rough.
In the unlikely event that one of us had to eject over that water, we would have been in a position where we'd have been unlikely to survive. So that was too much of a risk to take.
We had to stay in Greenland an extra night, and those were sensible decisions made for the right reasons. But it's really frustrating when all you want to do is just get home.
How cold is it, Lydia?
It's very cold. It's -12. We've been out all day towing aircraft, so we're ready to go home and warm up. Have some dinner.
The next morning, the team are up before sunrise, but the temperature has now plunged to -15.
About a week ago, we were in Huntington Beach in the sunshine, wearing shorts, t-shirts, flip-flops, surfing, and now we are here literally wearing every single thing we've brought with us to try and stay warm.
As you can see behind me, the jets are getting ready. We're about to take them here up to Reykjavik and then back to Scotland, hopefully this evening if we have enough daylight.
We had to keep the jets in overnight in a hangar because it's just so cold out here, and in order to keep the batteries and everything, preserve their life and make sure that they don't break, we need to keep them warm.
The engineers did an absolutely incredible job at 4 o'clock in the morning, refueling the jets.
Making sure the batteries don't drain because it's so cold, and being ready to just get them airborne at the right moment.
We got airborne out of Greenland, and an absolutely incredible scene, seeing the sunrise just behind the ice caps. There are a lot of silence on the radios and just the odd wow.
At last, 3 days later than planned, they arrive at Keflavik in Iceland.
A real small team of only about half a dozen had to turn the aircraft super quick, and then again they were on their way.
The pilots start their engines and get ready for the final leg of their epic journey, from Keflavik to Stornoway in the Outer Hebrides. The trip over the Atlantic goes smoothly. Then, the green hills of northwest Scotland come into sight, and at last, they're back in the UK.
Always love coming back into the UK after a long time away. The first time you hear that British voice on the air traffic control frequencies, you come back into the airspace, just fills you with confidence. It's great to be home.
Best British accent on the radio.
Their last night on the tour is spent in Scotland, and the next morning, they're on the home straight.
The final leg, which was actually flown from northwestern Scotland down to Scampton, having spent the night in Scotland, was just this bizarre aura of peace amongst the formation. The guys in the team who know that this is their last ever flight in a Red Arrows aircraft. For some of them, it's their last ever flight in the Royal Air Force, having just embarked upon what was a huge, iconic tour.
Cruising down to Scampton was an amazing feeling. Positioning to arrive at the airfield with some red, white and blue smoke, and then flying over the airfield conscious that all the families were down there.
Quite an emotional moment for all of us, knowing that that was the last time we'd all fly together as the 2019 display team.
We'd done the job, and we're now back at sunny Scampton.
They've travelled 22,000 miles and been watched by millions in one of the Red's most epic adventures. But finally, they're home.
Got the kids running out to greet parents who they haven't seen for 2.5, 3 months. It was just a wonderful moment of families reconnecting.
It's just a roller coaster. You sit in that aeroplane knowing that you're not going to get in it again, and it just doesn't feel right. It's been an absolute privilege, and I've loved every minute of it.
Not only is it the last time I'll fly a jet, or I finished with the Reds today, to come back, know that it's done, we've completed a successful 11 weeks away. Behind me is 12 jets that are all safely home to their loved ones. I'm a bit lost for words at the moment. Yeah, it's a very emotional afternoon.
Nearly 3 months away from the family, so no, it's great to be back with this lot. But that was my last trip in the Royal Air Force, so quite a poignant moment for me.
It was hard work to actually back, trying to hide the emotions and things like that. But For me, it's been a great 6 years with the team. I've absolutely loved it. Met some fantastic people, been to some brilliant places, and experienced so much.
It's a big relief to be back at Scampton. I mean, what a feat. We've done some incredible stuff. And I'm looking forward to, for 2 weeks rest, to lose some weight and to catch up on a bit of sleep.
They've performed at some of the world's biggest air shows. They've survived flights over dangerous terrain and trailed their red, white and blue smoke above iconic landmarks. They've overcome huge challenges and have tested themselves and their jets to the absolute limit. It's an experience that everyone involved will never forget.
It will certainly go down as one of the most successful Red Arrows tours there's been.
It's one of those real career highlights where you just go, yeah, I was part of that.
I think it's something that will stay with us all for the rest of our lives.
Just enjoyment, pride, happiness that we'd achieved what we'd set out to.
That tour is absolutely the highlight of my 20 years in the military, but I think it's probably the highlight of the Red Arrow's existence. I would embark upon that whole adventure in a heartbeat again.